Friends, in this lecture, let us discuss the sequencing problem for n jobs and 3 machines. So, in this problem, we are given the jobs A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the machine sequence is M1, M2, M3. The processing time for each of the jobs is given, where the time is in hours. So, before solving this problem, we have to check the required condition. So, required condition should be met, that is, minimum processing time of either M1 or M3 should be greater than or equal to maximum processing time on M3. Now, if you observe here, the minimum processing time on machine M1 is 3 hours. So, this is 3 hours, or minimum processing time on machine M3, it is 5 hours. So, this is 5 hours. But maximum processing time on machine M2 maximum processing time is 5 hours. So either 3 hours or 5 hours greater than equal to 5 hours. This condition is satisfied. Therefore we can apply the Johnson's algorithm for sequencing these kind of jobs. So here let us assume two dummy machines let us say H and I, and we will calculate the processing times as for machine H. Let us say how to calculate process times. The processing times of machine M1 and M2, we have to add the processing times of machine M1 and M2, and for machine I, let us take the addition of processing times of M2 and M3. Okay, now let us calculate the processing times for the jobs on machines H and I. So for each of the jobs, let us find out the processing times on these two fictitious machines. So for machine H, we will consider the sum of processing times of M1 and M2. So 3 plus 4, 7, 8 plus 3, 11, 7 plus 2, 9, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 1, 10, 8 plus 4, 12, 7 plus 3, 10. Okay, for machine I, let us add the sum of processing times on M2 and M3. 6 plus 4, 10, 3 plus 7, 10, 2 plus 5, 7, 5 plus 11, 16, 1 plus 5, 6, 10, and 3 plus 12, 15. Okay, so we get the processing times on two fictitious dummy machines H and I. So therefore now let us find out the optimum sequence by Johnson's algorithm. So I prepare here, so these many blocks 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I'll prepare here 7 blocks to write the sequence. So I prepared here the 7 columns for arranging the 7 jobs. Now as per Johnson's rule, let us find out the smallest processing time out of given times. So smallest processing time here is the 6 hours. So this is for job E, which lies on the second machine. So let us write at the extreme right for this job. Let us sequence it in the extreme right. So this is job number E and it lies on the second machine. So let us arrange it as late as possible, that is at the extremities. Okay, now this job let us eliminate from further sequencing. Now in the remaining processing times, next smallest time is 7. So there is a tie for processing times, so we can choose here any one randomly. So I choose this one. This processing time is the smallest one. So this is for job C, it lies on the second machine. So let us write as late as possible, that is at the extremities. So job number C here, because it lies on the second machine. Okay, now let us eliminate from further considerations this job. Now in the remaining processing times, next smallest time is 7 hours. For job A, it lies on the first machine. So it lies on the first machine. Let us sequence it as far as early as possible, that is at the extreme left. So let us write here job number A and eliminate it from further considerations. Now in the remaining processing times, next smallest time is the 9. Next smallest time is 9. So it is for job D and it lies on the first machine. So let us sequence as early as possible job D and eliminate from further considerations. So there are the remaining times 10 everywhere. So there is a tie. So you can here schedule them randomly. Take any one and schedule it. So I take this smallest processing time out of the remaining processing times. It is for job G. It lies on the first machine. So let us sequence it as early as possible, job G, and eliminate from further considerations. Now there are two smallest processing times. Again take any one randomly. I choose this one and eliminate from further considerations job F. It lies on the second machine. So schedule it as late as possible. Now there is only one place remaining and only one last job number B, lying on the second machine. So job B here. Now this is the optimum sequence as per Johnson's algorithm. Now let us find out further the processing times for each of the jobs. Okay, I prepare here a table and write the machine names. So friends, this is our optimum sequence as we determined. Now let us find out the total elapsed time, and for each of the jobs let us find out in and out times on each of the machines. So I prepared here a table. Table contains the sequence of machines M1, M2, M3 as well as the optimum sequence as per Johnson's rule. Now initially always for first job in time on first machine, it is considered as 0 reference time. Now let us do calculations for machine M1 first for each of the jobs in time and out times. For job A, the processing time on machine M1 is 3. So 0 plus 3, out time will be here 3 hours for first job. So therefore similarly let us do the calculations. Now the out time of the first job A, will be start time, that is in time for job D, that is 3 here. Now processing time of job D on M1 is 4. So 3 plus 4, 7. Right. Now in time for job G will be 7 hours. So 7 plus for job G, processing time is 7 hours. So out time will be 14 hours. So for job B, in time will be 14 hours. That is finished time of job G. So its out time on machine M1 will be 14 plus. For job B, processing time is 8. 14 plus 8, 22. Right? So in time for F will be 22. 22 plus, for job F, out time will be 22 plus 8. 22 plus 8 comes 30. So 30 is out time for F. Now for job C, in time will be 30 hours. So its out time for job C, processing time is 7. So 30 plus 7, 37. Right? So for job E, in time will be 37 hours and its out time will be 37 plus its processing time 9. So 37 plus 9, it comes 46 hours. So this is the elapsed time for all the jobs on machine M1. Now let us calculate these calculations on M2. Now for job A, in time on machine M2 will be out time of M1. So here I write 3 I have written here. Okay. Now out time on M2 for job A will be, for job A, out time is 4 hours. So 3 plus 4, 7 hours. So now here out time for D is here 7 hours and machine M2 is available after 7 hours. So in time for job D is again here 7 hours. So its out time for job D, out time will be incoming hour 7 plus processing time of D on M2, that is 5. 7 plus 5, 12 hours. Okay. Now machine M2 is available after 12 hours, but job G is coming out from machine M1 after 14 hours. So here in time will be maximum of these two, that is 14 hours is in time. Now 14 plus processing time of G on M2 is 3 hours. So 14 plus 3, 17. Okay. Now look here, job B will be available for M2 after 22 hours, but machine M2 becomes ready after 17 hours. So therefore job B can come on machine M2 after 22 hours, maximum of these two. Now its out time will be 22 plus processing time of B on M2 is 3. So 22 plus 3, 25 hours. Similarly, as per our concept, M2 is available after 25 hours, but processing time on M1 for job F is 30 hours. So it can be in the machine M2 after 30 hours. So it can be out after 30 plus processing time of F on M2 is 4, that is after 34 hours. Look here, maximum of these two is 37. Why we consider in time here 37? Because C is coming out after M1 after 37 hours. So maximum of these two we will consider here in time here. So its out time will be 37 plus for job C on M2 it takes 2 hours. So 37 plus 2, 39 hours. Now let us observe here, job E is coming out from machine M1 after 46 hours, but machine M2 will have to wait here till 46 hours. So here in time for job E will be here 46. So its out time from M2 will be 46 plus job E takes 1 hour for processing on M2, that is after 47 hours. So this is the processing time calculations for machine M2. Now similarly, let us do the calculations for machine M3. Now look here, job A can come in machine M3 after 7 hours. That means machine M3 will be idle initially for 7 hours. So its out time will be 7 plus job A will take 6 hours on machine M3. So 7 plus 6, 13 hours. This is processing time on machine M3 for job A. Now look here, on machine M3, second job D can come after 13 hours. Though the job D is available after 12 hours for machine M3, but it will be busy for 1 more hour. So job D will have to wait for 1 hour, so that the in time for job D on machine M3 will be 13 hours. Okay. Now let us find out time. Out time will be 13 hours plus for job D processing time is 11 on machine M3. So 13 plus 11, 24. Okay. Now for job G, in time on M3 will be 24 hours. Though the job G is ready by 17 hours, but M3 will be busy till 24 hours. So 24 hours is the time for in time for job H, and its out time will be job G has 12 hours processing time on machine M3. So 24 plus 12, it comes as 36. Okay. Now here in time will be maximum of these two, that is 36 hours. So out time will be 36 plus job B has time 7. 36 plus 7, it comes 43 hours. Now here again processing time in time for job F will be 43. Why 43? Because machine M3 will be available after 43 hours, though job F is available after 34 hours. So maximum we have to consider here. So 43 plus processing time of F. Processing time of F on M3 is 6. 43 plus 6, so 49. Okay. So now the processing time here up to F is 49 hours. So in time for C will be maximum of these two, that is 49. That means machine M3 is ready after 49 hours, though job C is available for processing after 39 hours. So maximum value you have to consider. Now out time will be 49 plus job C has processing time 5 hours on machine M3. 49 plus 5, 54. Now here maximum of these two is 54. So 54 plus processing time of E on M3 is 5. So it comes 59 hours. So this is the important time for us. So total time elapsed. Total elapsed time equal to 59 hours. Okay. Now let us calculate idle time for each machine. Idle time for M1. Idle time for M1 will be total elapsed time 59 minus the last job finished on machine M1 is 46. So that means idle time for machine M1 is 13 hours. We are using here this formula for calculating the idle times. So idle time for first machine, so let us say here machine A, so it is calculated as total elapsed time minus the time when the last job is out from that machine. So this formula is applicable for calculating the idle time for first machine. Now if you look at the calculation of next successive machines, then we have to use this formula. The idle time, the time at which first job is processed on machine A, that means previous machine, plus we have to add here the time difference, the time when the ith job starts on B, minus the time when I minus 1 first, that is previous job finishes on B. So we will use this formula to calculate the idle times on the machines M1 and M2 and M3. Idle time for M2 will be 3 plus 7 minus 7, 0, plus 14 minus 12, 2, plus 22 minus 17, 5, plus 30 minus 25, 5, plus 37 minus 34, 3, plus 46 minus 39, 7. So this is the idle time for machine M2. So 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 5, 10, 15, plus 3, 18, 18 plus 7, 25 hours. So this is the idle time for M2. Similarly, let us calculate the idle time for M3. This is 7 for first job, the waiting time on machine M3, that is 7, plus 13 minus 13, 0, plus 24 minus 24, 0, plus 36 minus 36, 0, plus 43 minus 43, 0, plus 49 minus 49, 0, plus 54 minus 54, 0. So for machine M3, the idle time is 7 hours. So I hope you understood the concept of sequencing the machines, 3 machines for n jobs, and its calculations, total elapsed time and idle time for each of the machines. Thank you for watching the video.